I'm not supposed to be here. Someone smarter, more accomplished, with a PhD, probably, or published thoughts, brilliant thoughts published in some journal that really matters, or somebody with certainly better, shinier hair. Somebody just better is supposed to be here. But here I stand, a life coach from Toronto, with my unpublished thoughts and clearly an imposter complex. The good news is that I am in fabulous company. In the thousands of hours I've spent coaching my brilliant clients, and in the hundreds of thousands of hours I've been on this planet, I can tell you that every high-achieving person at one point or another has wrestled with the imposter complex. Maya Angelou has wrestled with the imposter complex. Rock stars, academics, politicians, women with shiny hair, me, and possibly you. You're not alone. And it sounds like this. I'm not supposed to be here. My success is a house of cards. It's just a matter of time before they find out that I'm a fake. I'm not good enough, and I'm not ready yet. And it keeps people from moving towards their dreams and their desires, and that to me is unacceptable. The term imposter phenomenon was coined in '78 by clinical psychologists Pauline Clance and Susan Imes. They were observing high-achieving women, noticing that they seemed incapable of internalizing their accomplishments. Any proof of their success was dismissed as timing, fluke, or having deceived somebody into thinking that they were smarter than they are. Familiar, huh? You're not alone. And we know that men also suffer from the imposter complex, absolutely. But in her book, Dr. Valerie Young speaks to this. Women are socialized at a young age to be very concerned with fairness and openness. We're taught to apologize for everything. Woo, boom. And young boys, they're taught, forgive the sweeping generalization here, but they're taught that saying sorry is a sign of weakness. It's okay to screw up, just don't get caught, dude. And it manifests itself in some really limiting ways for women. We apologize for everything, like I said. We cut ourselves down with self-deprecating humor. We point out every last one of our flaws to anyone who will listen, our bosses, colleagues, clients. We over-prepare to the point of exhaustion. We pile up degree upon degree upon degree, only to discover the degree wasn't the answer. And we stand by and pass up promotions and then stand by while our less qualified colleagues dive in and fake it till they make it. And to me, that there are promotions getting passed by, dreams unrequited, thoughts unexpressed, and desires unattended, to me that is totally unacceptable. About 23 years ago, I was on a stage much like this one. I was campaigning to be social convener of my high school, NTCI. And Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was the film du jour. You remember? You remember the pseudo-surfer dudes from San Dimas, California? Devotees of the Circle K? I decided, for whatever reason, that doing the entire campaign speech in character was a brilliant idea. So, it was ridiculous, totally ridiculous, and it was amazing. About 25 bodacious and heinous and party on dudes later, I brought the house down, won the election by a landslide, which was kind of the point, but I wasn't prepared for how much I loved the stage. The connection, the thrill, the impact. I loved it. And I've been wanting more, a lot more. This time, with an idea worth sharing. That's where my imposter complex is getting all hot and heavy with me. Saying things like, you don't have any ideas worth spreading. You don't have a PhD. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And even if you got on stage, your hair's not shiny enough. You're not entertaining enough. You're just not ready yet. John Lennon said, part of me suspects that I'm a loser, and the other part of me thinks I'm God Almighty. Can you see the illusion at both extremities of that statement? Loser is an illusion. Imposter is an illusion. God Almighty is clearly an illusion. The authority is an illusion. You know more than you think, and you'll never know it all. Can you feel the grief and the relief in that? Me too. It's in our nature, though, to want to continue to strive towards this place of authority. We always want to be the authority. It's the nature of the ego. It wants to want more than it wants to get. So I argue that you can absolutely be an authority. You can have your authority. You're just not going to be the authority. Can we agree on that? And in my own experience and in the experience of my brilliant clients, I've articulated a continuum that gets us from this place to this place. Now, it's not totally linear like that because everybody's individual helix structure of tastes and aptitudes are going to have it all spirally and stuff. But I want you to be listening for where you are right now with your desire for authority, your dreams and your desires. Where are you in this continuum so you can look for the next place to go? The authority, the dream for the cupcake shop, the boardroom, the promotion, the TV show, Oprah's call. Wherever you are, pay attention for that. Decide to strive. Your decision to get on this path is the very first step. I had decided that 23 years was long enough for me to allow my imposter complex to get the upper hand. And I decided that I wanted to spread this idea somewhere that mattered, TEDx. I've had the opportunity of lots of other stages. I've been very fortunate that way. But here, with the possibility of being able to diffuse the imposter complex for hundreds of people, maybe even thousands, yeah, that I wanted really badly. Which is good, because you gotta wanna. There will be hydras and creatures that go bump in the night. So this had better be important. So know the feeling. Know what that feeling is when you get there so you can hold it sacred. Because remember, the ego wants to want more than it wants to get, so set up some markers so you know when you're even kind of close and hold that feeling sacred. Step 2 is beratement boot camp. Doesn't that sound like a hootenanny? I want you to have at it. List all of the reasons you'll never be an authority. Just dump them all out. It's been enough noise up here, just get it all down. And then notice, as Young points out, the complete competence extremities. If I don't know everything, then I know nothing. If I am not perfect, I'm woefully deficient. Really? Really, woefully deficient. So parse through what is real and what is imagined. What are the actual gaps and places that maybe you could use some support? And get that. And then notice what is imagined. Notice what the red herrings are that are keeping you from progress. I'm pretty sure you're a little more concerned that I know what I'm talking about than the luster of my hair. 3, bolster your authority thesis. What is the growing evidence of your authority? What have you authored? Authored, authority. What have you written? What have you inspired? What have you done? What do you know? And notice how different that is from what do you know? Revisit your yay folder. You have a yay folder, right? Yeah? It's the folder where every time somebody says something that makes your heart go, yay, about your competence, it goes in there. It's your reference letters, your testimonials, the sweet things people thank you for. It goes in there. For me, I hearken back to the hundreds of pages I've written on the topic, this topic. I reread the sweet thank you cards and love notes from my clients who have helped with their own imposter complex. And I even went back to all the times I've stood in front of more than like 10 people to remind myself on a cellular level that I am good up here, right? Woo! Thank you. Call in the reserves. Here's the thing. Oh, hold this one. If nothing else, hold this. The people in your life want you to succeed. Allow them to champion you. Allow them to reflect back your brilliance, your light, your creativity, and your joy. Allow them to remind you all the times you've forgotten when you were stellar. And then choose to believe them when they tell you you've got it. You've got this. Back in Beratement boot camp, you might have identified some places that you could get some support, or you could use some support. Get it. Hire it. Ask for it. And here's also a good time to start considering releasing the people in your life that contribute to your insecurities. It's time. Okay, rooted in all of that truth, you gotta jump, right? It's terrifying. It's terrifying because on the other side of that chasm is your desire. So, no bigs, right? In spite of that, find your way, jump, fly, catapult, strive. Remember the words of Gabrielle Roth? After you jump, before you land is God. Feel the wind on your cheeks. And then, when you land, you gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. Stephen Pressfield said it best. Do the work, do the work, do the work. It's the work you love, so that's the good news. Paint, bake, cook, teach, coach, run. Do the work. Imbue it in your truth, with your authenticity. Don't look to what other people are doing. That's just going to feed the imposters. Do the work. The seventh step is less of a step and more of a way of being. All of those upturned roots and twists and turns. How do you choose to be with all that? It's like, a child's tantrum or Mother Nature's. We can't really plan for it. But what you do with it, that's where the sugar's at. So, for instance, I was thinking about Malcolm Gladwell in The Outlier. He talks about Daniel Levitin's findings that it takes 1,000 hours to become a world-class expert in anything. I say it's like 10,000 choices. When you're going along and doing your work and somebody else's needs come up before yours, what do you choose to do? What do you choose to feed? When you lose sight of why you're doing this anyway, choose to root back to that sacred desire, that feeling. When new self-limiting thoughts rise up, choose to go back to Beratement boot camp to find out what it's to teach you now. Choose to call in the reserves. Choose to go back to bolster your authority thesis. You have all of those choices. 2 more. You can choose to quit. That's a choice. And you can choose to stay. I vote that you choose to stay. And I know it's hard to stay. I love this quote from David White. We know intuitively that we should not run away, that we should stay and look for a different way forward, but we are wiser, more present, more mature, and more understanding when we realize we can never really flee the need to run away. Full permission here to feel that, and in spite of that, choose to stay. The longer you're on this path, the more you've earned that authority. Your tenacity is currency. Oh, your head's been down so long, you've been doing the work, you've been making all these decisions. Time to look up at your markers, because I almost guarantee you are closer than you think. And when you're closer than you think, you celebrate. You celebrate your yeses, your nos, your tenacity, your decisions. I know it's so hard to celebrate, right? We can't be with the shadow, we can't be with the light. Be in the light. Feel the light. It feels so good. And it conditions you for more. More is a 4-letter word, but I want more for you. I want more for you. Celebrate. Be here. In your celebration. You have earned it. And so now, wherever you might be on this continuum, striving towards your dreams. That's for my husband. He's going to love that I just did this. It's there, waiting for you. Thank you. Wolf calling. Oh, that's awesome. It's waiting for you. It's not coming back. You've got to go to it. You have the tools. And believe me when I tell you, you've got this. So, to be in full integrity, I have to tell you that this feeling right now, this feeling, this moment, is the sacred feeling that I've been hanging on to. Right here with you on this TEDx stage. Thank you for being here for my here. And in the words of my boys, Bill and Ted, please be excellent to each other.